Hi, everybody. My name is Carlos Huerta Enciso, and I'm an officer with ACM. I primarily work in the newsletter and podcasts. And the reason why I'm making this video is because about 3 weeks ago, we had our general meeting, and unfortunately, I did not get to make it for my part to talk about the podcast. And the reason was that I was helping out my family during preparing for the winter storm and didn't make it back in time. For those who did attend the general meeting and were told as much as what was on the slide about the podcast, I'm here to explain it a bit more in depth. So, Apex, the name of our show, is what I would describe a show that's geared towards data science, MIS, and CS students, and any other students within the CST community. Each episode, I dive into a certain topic and explain it in a kind of brief, but mostly straightforward explanations. And these topics range from how to ace a behavioral and technical interview. Is a university degree worth it, or should I go on the self-taught or the boot camp route? Should I be involved in a research project? Should I go to conferences or hackathons? And a bunch of other stuff. Some that are timely, some that can still work even after you graduate. But it's always good to be prepared, at least have some basic knowledge about something that you might encounter once you graduate. And that's what that show is. So the show is available on several platforms, but we're mostly on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. I just named those three as kind of the top three that most of y'all would be on to listen to podcasts. But besides the platforms, we're also on Twitter. And the significance of this Twitter account is if you're an active listener and want to be more involved in the show, foreshadowing, um, being a part of the Twitter account is very important because not only you get to know when a new episode drops, but you get to know when I have an upcoming guest on for an upcoming episode. And I'll leave their the title, what they do, and if it's someone that you really want to ask a question to, you can just comment down below on the tweet, write your question down, and most of the time I will accept and put it next to a listener's questions aside with my questions for that guest. And on the day of that interview, I will ask that guest your questions. So this is good for those who have this burning question, probably didn't get enough time to ask this in a conference or some other place, or just haven't found the right someone to just ask these questions that you're kind of feeling a bit confused and lost about. And that's what the Twitter account is there for. But besides that, the Twitter account is there for resources. So what kind of resources? Resources that I didn't cover in an episode. So let's say the first episode we released, which is called Hello World, which was about CS major, I would release, resources that I didn't cover in that episode. Let's say, job prospects, more, and articles relating to, how a CS degree is very valuable, and other reads as well. And there's some things that you can just use whenever you have free time, read something on the way home or whatever. But it's not just articles, there are also website links. So let's say I can leave links to just, websites that help you with your interview skills and technical interviewing skills. I have those as well. And also links to, let's say, a GitHub repository even that just has like a handbook for those who are in the pathway of wanting becoming a software engineer. And, I have a GitHub repository that just has like a handbook created by like a Facebook front-end engineer who just goes in depth about data structures and algorithms, but also past that, negotiating salaries and other stuff within, what you can do in an interview. And I think that could be useful. So I'm throwing that in there into the tweets. But besides links, articles, I will also be posting memes. So most of which is just within theme of the show, within our majors. So, but they're fun. There's some that aren't going to be like too complex. Like you got to know a good deal amount of data structure and algorithms, or have to have some experience in this certain type of object-oriented programming language or what have you. There are things that you can learn, but also you don't laugh at, and that's what I want the kind of what I'm shooting for the Twitter account to be, not only engaging but fun to be in. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh wait, furthermore, when do episodes drop? I'm glad you're wondering. Anyway, when episodes drop, they usually drop on Fridays. There's no certain time. They will drop, let's say, right now I'm recording on Thursday today. So they will be dropping a few hours from now. So 12 a.m. on the dot. If you're awake by then, you're a real trooper. An episode will be ready. But if not, by the time you wake up tomorrow, an episode will be ready. But the new episode will actually drop next Friday. Had a lot with midterms and the winter storm, but also I was recently in a competition where I was trying to network my butt off, trying to get some people, potential guests on the show. So hopefully it turns out to that. But yeah. But gonna go back to that schedule. I'm trying to shoot for like 12 episodes for this semester, maybe more, because there might be some ideas that might come into my head that could be timely. Let's say for this month, I'm working on a International Women's Month episode. So for those who are curious about that, and also who I will bring on as a guest on that episode, follow the Twitter account. But yeah, right now I just have about like around 20 episode ideas in general, I'll say. And hopefully I can still continue to grow more topics and ideas that can be explained and can be at least understand, because the point of this episode the point of this show is to just have an outlet for you guys to just learn and understand and just know some things that you wish you probably would have learned if you were at least, like, let's say you graduated and you're trying to job hunt, or you're starting out your new job or something like that, and you're like, dang, I wish I learned this in college during my days in college. Well, that's what I'm trying to do, and what I'm hoping to shoot for is just you guys taking the time to just listen and learn and have some basic understanding of whatever topics you want. Episodes are not in order. You can just pick and choose whichever episodes. They just have topics. You just pick which one and just listen to them, and be sure to go on the Twitter and see if there's any additional resources for that particular episode, which it will be. And that's pretty much it. I mean, I try to shoot for the 20 to 30 minute range. Might be a bit longer. Like for example, I'm working on the interview episode, which kind of clocks in at almost 40 minutes, but it's pretty much worth it in terms of who I got as guest on that show and what types of information I tried to, like, I guess, boil it down. I guess that's what I mean. There's a lot when you want to talk about interviews, especially in both behavioral and technical interviews. But yeah, just something as food for the mind, just something you can listen on the way home, on the way to school, on the way to work, what have you. That's why this idea of the show exists perfectly on a podcast. And yeah, just see where this takes us. Honestly, I hope that you guys learn something from this and just use it to your advantage. That's what I'm hoping for. But yeah, be sure to follow the Twitter account. I left the link on the bottom of this video, so be sure to click that and follow. I'll leave a notification for when the next episode drops, which is next Friday, so be sure to check on that. But yeah, I'm Carlos, and I'll see you later.